Hey there, I'm Ian Douglas. I'm the author of the website techinterview.guide, and I'm here to help people with career advancement and interview preparation. My live stream on Twitch covers topics such as company research, how to build resumes and cover letters, applying for the job, getting through interviews, and what to do during negotiations. I've coached thousands and thousands of people over the years to get jobs at the biggest tech companies in the industry, and I'm here to help you too. The following episode is taken from a longer live stream event and may contain interactions with other people in chat. Check out the end of the episode for more information. Let's get to it. We had an anonymous question that came in and said, I got a job offer, but I still have other interviews lined up. What's an appropriate time to think about the offer, and how long are offers usually valid? It's a great question. I appreciate you asking. I had this happen in January when I was finishing up my job hunt. I started having job offers come in, and I had to try to figure out, do I just want to take that job offer, or do I want to kind of use that job offer as leverage to speed other people up? When you have an offer, you can use 3 words. And these 3 words are like the most powerful words in the tech interview process right now. It's called offer in hand. You have an offer in hand. You need to call all the other recruiters or all the other hiring managers that you've been in contact with and say, I have an offer in hand. I'd really rather work for your company, even if it's not the truth. You can still say, I would really rather work for you. Is there something we can do to speed up the process, because I don't want to miss out on an opportunity? You can literally word it that way. I have an offer in hand. I'd really prefer to work at your company because reasons, and give them like 1 or 2 reasons. Is there anything that we can do? Don't say, is there anything you can do? You want to say, is there anything we can do? You want to make it sound cooperative to speed up the process so that I don't miss out on an opportunity. They're going to read that and go, okay, you've got an offer, and I'll tell you some variations of how you can word this as well. So they're going to look at that and go, okay, you have an offer. It probably has an expiration of some kind, and so we need to speed you up. Now, some companies are going to look at that and go, oh, you have an offer. We're kind of on the fence, as we say, like we're not really decided yes or no yet. Some companies will just say, because we're not like super decided, like you're an amazing candidate, they'll just say, okay, we just won't continue then. If you've already got an offer, then we won't continue. That happened to me on my job hunt. Most of the time though, when I called a recruiter and said, hey, I have an offer in hand, I'd really prefer to work at your organization. Is there something we can do to speed this up? They would almost always respond with, yeah, let me see what I can do. And it generally hurried things up, because companies understand that when you have offers, that there is some kind of expiration on there. Some job offers will explicitly say like you have 48 hours or 72 hours, or you have a few days to decide. Some people want an immediate response. You should never, ever, ever feel pressured to respond. You can always respond back to the offer and say, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the offer. I need to take some time to read over it. Can you also send me this additional information? And I'll get to that in a moment. Now, you want to say thank you, but you need some time to review it. And if they don't give you a deadline, you can give them a deadline, but you can also tell them, thank you for the offer. I still have other interviews ongoing and I'd like to finish those up. I expect them to finish by this date. Does that sound like an okay timeline to make a decision? You can always ask them. So if they don't give you a deadline, you can word that message back to them saying, thank you for the offer. I appreciate all the time. I'm going to take some time to review this, and I'll talk about the things that you want them to send over, and that's kind of a stall tactic. But you want to say, like, I'm still interviewing at other companies. I expect that those are going to wrap up by, let's say today's Tuesday. You say, I expect these interviews to wrap up by next Friday. Is that an okay timeline to make a decision? Now, that's a week and a half. That's kind of aggressive for them. They're probably going to want an answer sooner than that. But you can still say like, hey, can I take some time? Like, I still want to wrap up these other interviews. They may say like, we can't wait a week and a half. Can you let us know by like next Monday, or can you let us know by Friday? You can always say, I'll try to let you know by Friday. I'd like to push it to at least Monday or Tuesday, because I do want to finish up some interviews. And so you need to do a little bit of negotiation here as far as like, what is that cutoff actually going to be? One other thing that I mentioned earlier that you can reword to the other companies to speed them up. You can say, I have an offer in hand. I'd really rather work for your organization. Hey, Pezlis, thanks for the resub. Appreciate that. You can basically use some wording in that message to hurry up the other company that says, I'd really rather work for you. I'm going to ask this other company for an extension on their deadline so that we can finish our interview process with your company. Is there anything that we can do to speed it up? And you can even share some details, like their offer expires on Monday. I'm going to try to ask for an extension by Tuesday or Wednesday. Is there anything we can do to speed this up so that we can finish up by then? Some recruiters will move mountains, and they'll start immediately making phone calls like, this person's got an interview. We're going to lose them as a candidate. Do you like them enough to like speed things up? Some companies will actually skip interview steps in order to do that. Not everyone will. Again, if they're kind of on the fence and they're like, you're okay. You're not like superstar. You're not a strong no, but we're not really decided. Some companies will just be like, nah, never mind then. If they've got an offer and it's expiring, then we'll let them take that offer. That is a risk that you can take. And so you never want to lie to a company about having an offer, because they might shut off the interview process themselves. And so you can ask other companies to speed up their process by saying, I'd really rather work for you. I'm going to ask this other company for an extension. And this is all stuff that I did back in January. And so it is a successful tactic. I had a verbal offer that kind of kickstarted everything else. The verbal offer then kickstarted a written offer. That written offer then like really kickstarted everything else. And I started getting a lot more written offers after that. But that first written offer that I got was several days before I was even interviewing with some other companies. And so I was kind of like hurrying them up, going like, I don't want to lose out on an opportunity here, but I would much prefer to work at, say, Postman, where I actually eventually got a job. But I've got this other job offer. Now, once I had like 2 or 3 other offers, I didn't worry so much about that first one, which had the earliest expiration date. And it got to a point where they finally got tired of me like stalling. And they're like, look, you need to let us know by Friday, because we have somebody else that we've interviewed that we want to hire if you don't take the job. And I'm like, okay. So I let them know by that Friday. I'm like, I'm not going to take it. And I don't know whether they actually made the other offer to the other person or if they got hired. I have no idea. I haven't tracked any of that. But so there are a handful of emails that you want to send out. The first one is to all the other recruiters saying, I'm going to ask for an extension, and I'd really rather work for you. Can we speed this up? That will move mountains. Or they're going to come back and say, never mind. So you have to be okay with taking that job offer that you have, even if that's not the job that you want, because some companies won't be able to move fast enough. And so you also have to kind of make the decision of, you don't want to be too aggressive about it to where they're like, okay, never mind. We can't possibly get through all the interviews in a week or something like that. Some of that's on them, because that means that their process is too extensive to hurry things up. And that's kind of on the company to some degree. And then the other email is back to the original company saying, I've got other interviews that I really want to wrap up. Can I let you know by such and such a date when I expect all these other interviews to wrap up? And one stall tactic that you can use with the company that gave you the offer, I mentioned there's some other things that you can mention. So you want to say, thank you for the offer. I need some time to review it. Can you also send me over your full benefits package and any other information that they offer about like stock option plans and things like that? These are all things that you also need to evaluate as part of what we call the total compensation package. You need to ask them about, like, if they're offering equity, you need to ask them about the equity history. You need to ask about the strike price. You need to ask about exit events. Like, you can do some research on like what kinds of things you need to ask about for stock equity. But if they've got if they're a public company, they may have a stock purchase program. If they're a private company, they may have incentive stock options or reserved share units if they're about to go public. And so you need to ask about all those things and be able to look over those agreements as part of the compensation package, because there may be some things in there that you're not going to understand. And you can definitely drop by the stream here anytime or reach out over direct message if you've got like a more aggressive timeline, and I'm happy to help like kind of look through wording and stuff with you and help you evaluate what that means. But by asking them, hey, I appreciate the offer. Can I also get like the full benefits package information, whatever? I want to know how much it's going to cost me for benefits. If you're in a country like America where you have to pay for health benefits, that's part of what comes out of your paycheck and whatnot. Or if you have family members, like how much is that going to cost additionally, and what are all the different coverages? The reason that you need to know that is because if you already have established relationships with doctors and dentists and so on, you need to make sure that they're going to take that new insurance. And so if they're offering you provider A and provider B and provider C, you need to find out whether your current doctor takes any of those providers or not. And if they don't, then you need to make the choice of, do I want to change my doctor, or do I want to contact the company and say like, hey, my doctors don't take any of this insurance. What can we do instead? And so again, it's a bit of a stall tactic, but you need to say like, hey, I need to get a hold of my doctors and all this stuff. So I need time to like go through all of this before I can make a decision on taking this job. Now in the tech industry, some people are like, well, you're already making like a ton of money. What difference does it make if you have to pay like a little bit more of a copay or something like that to your doctor because they don't take that specific insurance? But again, 3-word phrases: continuity of care. Those are the 3 words that you need to get back to the recruiter and say, for continuity of care. That means I've already got an established relationship with a doctor or a dentist or, surgery follow-up or whatever. And for continuity of care, I need to make sure that my doctors take the insurance that you're providing as part of the benefits package. I need time to call them. I need time to get them to research what's actually covered because, otherwise my out-of-pocket expenses could be enormous. Medications and whatnot. Now, you don't have to give them any information about that. You just have to say continuity of care. I need to call some medical professionals and make sure that they're going to cover all this. You never have to give them oh, well, I had this surgery and I'm on this medication. I have to make sure that I can get that medication still. Don't give them any of that information. But you do need to say, I have established doctors and so on that I work with. I need to make sure that they can take this insurance, and it may take a couple of days to call everybody and make sure that they can actually take this insurance. So again, that's a stall tactic that you can use to say I can't give you an answer today. I can't give you an answer tomorrow. I need at least a couple of days just to call everybody, much less evaluate everything about the compensation package. And so that's a good way to kind of stall things out while you're still working through all the other interviews with other companies. And so those are the 2 messages you'll send. You'll send one back to the company that gave you the offer, and then you'll send the other message to everybody else that you're still interviewing with saying, we need to hurry this up. And then once you start getting other offers, then you can start to compare them to say, okay, that first offer that I got that's expiring first, is that most important? Do I really want that job, or do I want maybe this other one a little bit more? You need to look at compensation packages, and every company that gives you an offer, you still need to ask for all that other information, like the benefits package and the stock and anything that they mention in their contract. You still have to ask them all of those questions anyway. And then, again, it's not meant to be a stall tactic to drag it out forever. They are looking for an answer quickly. But that's how you can sort of phrase those messages to kind of stall things out a little bit, to make sure that you've got time to finish up the interviews and whatnot. And once you start calling your health providers or whatever and say, do you take this insurance? Do you take that insurance? Then when you get other offers and you find out that they also offer that similar carrier, then you already know that they're going to take that insurance. You don't have to really stall out as long. But this is something that I had to do back in January. One company offered, they're like, oh, we offer Kaiser Permanente. And I'm like, well, Kaiser Permanente, you have to use their doctors. If you go out of network, it's outrageously expensive. You have to go to their doctors. We haven't used Kaiser since our youngest was born. And they did a bunch of stuff. I will never be another Kaiser Permanente customer in my life if I can help it. I will never set foot in another Kaiser Permanente facility of any kind. That's just me. And so when this company came back and they're like, we offer Kaiser, I'm like, I can't take Kaiser Permanente. I'm not going to Kaiser. And not that I was willing to walk away from the job, but I contacted that company back saying, because of the provider that you offer with the health benefits, is there an adjustment that we can do to pay if I don't take those benefits? Because I don't want to be a Kaiser Permanente customer. Instead, can I get what the company would have paid for my health benefits? Can I get that added on to my pay so that I can pay out of my own pocket for health benefits? Because we've got doctors that we've already established, blah, blah, blah. And that company came back and said, yeah, we'll work something out. So again, you have to be respectful about it, but you can ask these kinds of questions. And again, I'm happy to help with wording and phrasing these kinds of messages. So yeah. Thanks for checking that out. I hope that you found it helpful. I always appreciate feedback, so please let me know what you think. I appreciate any subscriptions, so please tell your friends and colleagues about it as well. Check out the website techinterview.guide for more information about when I'm live streaming and all of my free content. Drop by a live stream anytime to ask questions or message me privately, whatever makes you most comfortable. See you next time.